Okay, well, we are right at 2 o'clock, and I did have a call from Lee. His power went out this morning, but it's back.
Oh my
But his
God.
spectrum in the Fox Harbor neighborhood is still out, and they told him it probably would not be back until maybe 4 o'clock. So he's going to try to get on with his phone, and so we have a quorum here.
Right?
I
Lee?
am on. I am on the phone. I don't have any
Okay,
picture, but I'm on the phone.
okay, good deal, Lee. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I came up.
Okay, we have an abbreviated agenda, but some important issues, so we can call the meeting to order. It's 2:01 on August 14th already, and we can go from there. The minutes are delayed because of my physical challenges, but the good news is there is an electronic copy that Ron can generate through AI, as well as what's on YouTube. And I've gone back to look at YouTube to kind of complete the minutes myself. So at some point, the records will be completed. So that's kind of where we are. And based on the last agenda that John helped me prepare, Mr. Mayor, would you like to bring us up to date with anything we need to know about?
Yeah, first, welcome Mandy to the Forestation Board, to your first meeting as a member. So congratulations and thank you for serving. The council last night took a big step with regard to the Head property, which is the undeveloped land just west of the fire department on US 42. The council has given first reading to an ordinance that allocates funds for the city to participate in a public-private partnership for the development of that land. Steps between here and there, one of which is we need to annex the land, which the new owners are soon to be owners are very supportive of. So we think we'll be able to get that accomplished, hopefully in short order. Steps along the way. We're working with Jim Brainerd, who is the former mayor of Carmel, Indiana, as a consultant. So he's working very closely with us. He's already been in touch with firms that develop master plans for these types of projects. So it's an exciting beginning. It's I would say it's daunting, but I think it's worth the effort. And I'm very excited for the city. Really, I think it's a great opportunity. I have a hard time seeing the finish line, but when you've got optimists like Jim Brainerd working with you, who did just a phenomenal job in his 28 years as mayor of Carmel, it all seems much more possible. So I mentioned to Chris Gorman, when I look at this, all I see is roadblocks. And I said, when Jim Brainerd looks at it, all he sees is ways to work around the roadblocks. So he's got a great mindset. He's a great gentleman, and it should be an exciting opportunity for us. Don Gibson's been involved in this and was at the meeting. And Don, if you want to chime in on this before I go on with the rest of my report.
I'm just really excited about the possibilities, and I think the possibilities are almost limitless for us. And I think we're setting the foundation for the city of Prospect for the next 50 years.
What's the vision for that space? I'm kind of curious because it's a prime location.
I couldn't hear you, Linda.
I'm sorry. What is the vision for that space?
What's the what? I'm sorry.
She's asking
Vision. What is the vision?
Well, it'd be a multi-use kind of development. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's, if you look at Norton Commons, I think that gives you an idea. It's so it's some upscale residential, some cafes, some park areas, some pedestrian walkways, car parking out of sight, just a very pedestrian friendly sort of development. So the comment that I made last night is somebody has said they think Prospect's great just the way it is, we ought to leave it alone. Well, that's fine, except that's not the reality. Prospect is going to change. And the question is, do we help guide that change? And so I think this is a great opportunity in that regard. And we had unanimous support on the council, which is very exciting. As I
That is
say,
exciting. Thank you.
members of the Architectural Review Committee came and spoke. Herb Schulhafer among them, Bob Jacob, who's the chair, and Sarah Hines, who's former council member, but now member of the Architectural Review Committee. Herb organized 2 trips to Carmel, and I've been on both of them. But he's a good, and of course his experience as an architect. Herb, you chime in.
Well, I think the council unanimously, I think it's fantastic. You know, we've been involved in wanting things to have us to have a little major involvement in, but you really don't. The developers are going to do what they're going to do, but in this situation, we're a partner in and we're a partner at the beginning. So conceptually, we'll be very much involved, and we'll be involved all the way through. And it's really, I think the council to take this step is a big step. And I'll go with Don. I mean, I think it's a big step. It's going to be a stepping stone for Prospect for many years.
Yeah. Well, that's the big news. There are a couple of other things I'll mention. One is tomorrow is coffee with the mayor, and that'll be at noon at Starbucks on US 42. The Monarchs are coming up on this Sunday, in concert at Little Hunting Creek Park at 7 o'clock. At 6:30, Big Mo's Barbecue and Ice Cream Food Truck will be present at Little Hunting Creek Park. So I encourage everybody to come to the concert, or just to come by and pick up food and take it home. Nature business. On Monday, 2 events on Monday coming up on the 18th. One is a recycle roundup at the First Baptist Church on US 42. It's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that's an opportunity for people to learn more about Rumpke's, what plastics are recyclable, which is the whole question of what's recyclable is makes my head spin. But it's this is a class of sorts, a hands-on class, where children and adults will have an opportunity to sort plastics and say, this is recyclable, that's not, and really sort of learn firsthand. Norman Hicks, who's a member of the Rotary Club, is organizing this. Also on Monday evening is the regular city council meeting at 7 p.m. So last night was a special council meeting for the purpose of giving first reading to an amended budget, which allocated the funds for the public-private partnership that we talked about. Monday evening is the regular city council meeting. There'll be a second reading and the opportunity for the council to adopt that amended budget, in addition to other matters that will be on the agenda for Monday. On Thursday, August 28th, there is another tour of the Rumpke recycling facility and landfill in Cincinnati. Last time we had a bus take this route out. This time the tour will be a private car, so people carpool and go up, and you'll tour the landfill itself, and then recycling facility. And there will be lunch there, and then go tour the recycling facility. You'll leave Prospect at 8:45 in the morning. You're back in Prospect by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The recycling facility, without going into too much detail, is remarkable. They process 25 tons an hour in that facility, and it operates 2 shifts a day. So it really is a sight to behold and a great learning
What was
experience.
the date again? What was the date again?
It's on Thursday, August 28th, 8:45 in the morning. If you're interested, there's notice in the Wednesday announcements email we send out. So yesterday's email that listed all the things, it's in there, and you just click on it, and it'll give the details. But you can send an email to there. I think there's a form that you click on the link and submit the form. But if you have any trouble with it, Connie, if you're interested in going, just send me an email, and I'll help get you signed up. Coming up in November, this is an advance notice, but on Sunday, November 23rd, is the Trail Bash, which came back into operation last year under the leadership of Tina Bevan, and she's leading the effort again this year. So that's on Sunday, November 23rd at 9 a.m. at Harris Creek Park. And I went down for last year, and it was wonderful. I didn't run, but just being there with all the runners and the excitement and the fun of it was a real opportunity. So there's a lot of good things going on, a lot of excitement, and that's my report.
Well, a lot of good news. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving on, Andrea, one of the key topics for this meeting will be selection of trees, and so we can move forward with a couple things. And are there other issues we need to talk about? So we will get into it with hazardous trees and, some of your recent communication.
Do we need to talk about Mr. Grader, I'm sorry, at 6300 Innisbrook today, or is that?
Yes, that is on the agenda.
Okay. Did you want me to talk about that now or wait?
Whenever you choose.
Okay.
He had asked to join the meeting, by the way, but he's not here.
Oh, he did. So I met with him on last week and looked at the problem tree on the breaker's property adjacent to his back fence. I don't know how many people in the meeting today have seen that tree. Has anybody else seen it or not? No? Okay. So it's a mature Norway spruce, and it is leaning, and it is, if it falls, it would fall in the direction of his rear property fence and into his yard.
And he's
And
had previous experience with,
Yes.
branches
Yeah,
coming down that they've
He
cleaned up.
he evidently had another tree that came from the same property behind him, that I don't know how long ago. It's been a while now, and it was a large deciduous tree of some type, and it fell across its fence and damaged some trees and such in his backyard, because he's done a lot of planting in his backyard on his property lines to in anticipation of the breakers that being developed. So he's got nice like green giant arborvitae and other evergreens planted in a line like along his back property fence and even his right side of his property. So anyway, that tree that fell, I guess it was huge according to him, and that was a while back, and he just went ahead and paid to have it cleaned up himself because he wanted to get it off his property, and I suppose he didn't want to go through the rigmarole trying to figure out, who would be responsible, etc. But this tree he's requesting some help on, and so in my opinion, when that it looked, I didn't know what that exactly backed up to, whether it backed up to an undeveloped lot or a developed lot. I went around the other way and went into the breakers to try to see, but it was really hard to tell. But in any event, the lot has been developed. It appears to have been developed, in my opinion. When it was developed, all the trees, closer to the property line with Innisbrook, had root damage. So in my opinion, the direction it's leaning is I think the trees had root damage and it doesn't have many roots on that side. So now it's leaning towards his property line. And, you know, grading and changing grade and so forth really can damage tree roots. And so I told him I would bring this information back to the Forestation Board and to the mayor and you know, it would be discussed. So
So
that's kind of where we're at.
let me ask a question of John. John, did you say someone wanted to participate in this meeting?
Don Grader sent an email to Ron earlier and said he wanted to participate, and I sent him a link.
Oh, okay. So he's got a link.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me bring up something related to this discussion. This is not the first time that we have had to deal with breakers trees causing problems for Innisbrook. And, you know, Linda Wardell and her neighbor went through it. There was another lot that has a big thing that the tree actually the city took out, which at this point I think from what we understand is probably a private matter, as it was with the tree that we recently talked about with McGrail. And so it's kind of between them and perhaps the developer. Now, I did look at the breakers website, and that lot, I believe most of them adjoining the Innisbrook property are sold. Whether they've been developed, I don't know if it's the same owner or they are different builders involved, but it seems like we need to acknowledge, and I think we talked about this, that it was not our responsibility because of the location. It was not a public threat. And I did have some communication with Chris. He can confirm this and then sort out what we need to do communication wise. So it's disappointing, and I know that that's not what I think Don wants to hear, but we can't enforce it. I think it's really between he and the developer or the owner of that lot.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate for him to be advised of Andrea's conclusion and for him to use that information as he sees fit in his dealings with the owner of the lot.
And I'm sorry.
The ability of the city to order the removal of a tree is if it's a danger to the general public. And the way Chris and the Kentucky League of Cities have interpreted that, they're talking that really is referring to trees that are near or at the sidewalk or the public street, and
exactly.
that the neighbor is not the general public. The neighbor is an unfortunate nearby neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
so
had an effective control with a similar situation where there was a hazardous tree. The city had to take it out. The builder wouldn't pay for it, but John Carter came up with a very effective solution. He said no building permit for that lot till the hazardous tree cost is compensated to the city. And you could use maybe a similar thing, no building permit until the hazardous tree is removed.
and that could be part of the communication to say you can't move forward until you have remediated and go from there.
Yeah, I think we need to talk to Chris about that. I know that was what was done before, but I'm not sure
Didn't
what
we,
authority.
I thought the new forestation ordinance allowed for that.
Couldn't hear you.
I'll have to check it.
I was thinking it might. We'd have to double check it.
Yeah, I think so too, and I will double check it as well. Okay, Andrea, what else would you like to put on the table until we get to tree selection?
The only other thing that I would recommend or suggest at some point here is that the city going forward over the next year to 2 years, maybe start doing some limbing up of some of the streets and or entrances that the city maintains When I was in Innisbrook the other day, it occurred to me just with the recent growth over the last, probably even this year, that a lot of the trees on the sides of the street, in front of the board fence, along the exit and entrance sides of the entrance road are having pretty low branches, some of them growing out into the street. And I also, in Innisbrook itself, which I guess is they have rows of pin oaks on Innisbrook Drive and through Innisbrook. And I know the board has dealt with some issues relating to those trees between the sidewalk and the street, which again are primarily pin oaks. But they have some those trees really need to be limbed up, in my opinion. I mean, they're hitting garbage trucks, and if you ride through there and look at that, you would kind of see what I mean. I don't know if that's the homeowner's responsibility in Innisbrook, for instance, or are those trees, do we consider those trees owned by, or the maintenance of them responsibility of the owners of the homes or not? I can't remember.
Are they on the public roads? Because if not, I
would-
think
Lee, would you know that? Because we've dealt with some things in Innisbrook before. Is Lee still
Well,
on?
on the entrance road to Innisbrook, the city has in the past treated the ash trees for emerald ash borer.
Right.
And the city has also taken out or removed some trees which were dead, and the homeowners were not involved in either situation.
I that's what, yes, you're right about that. What I was talking about is in Innisbrook itself, like when you get back in the back where the homes are.
My understanding is that, and I stand to be corrected on this, but that's the homeowner's responsibility.
That's my understanding. And
I was kind of thinking that too, but I wasn't sure.
And as far as the entrance goes, I've made a note.
I lost you there for a couple sentences.
I'm having audio problems. John, maybe you need to get me hooked up so I can get it on my monitor instead of on my laptop.
And she said her other today. And this is
Oh, hold on just a minute. Y'all go ahead, but I'm going to get my audio fixed.
Sure. I mean, if you drive back in there,
I can't hear
just
what's
all of a
behind
sudden,
me.
it looks like it really, and I could, as far as the public areas on either side of Sutherland Farm Road or the city property of it, I guess, I could, if we're interested in doing something like that, I could meet with Ron and maybe whatever contractor he would want to choose down the road to do that type of work, so it's done correctly.
Yeah, no selecting.
John, isn't that a coal?
Actually, I hear it, but it's.
John Carter,
Yes.
isn't tree clearance, that a prospect hole? And if garbage trucks are hit, isn't installation?
Be having audio issues.
Yeah.
Don, let me get back to my desk. I couldn't really understand.
Okay.
That's in the ordinance.
He's trying to fix my audio, so give me just a second on that and then you can respond.
That's in the ordinance too, isn't it? The height of trees over streets and.
yes,
Yeah.
over sidewalks versus trees.
right.
Yes, there are standards. And that was
Linda,
updated.
I have an easy one.
Oh, it's that. I like that.
Okay, this tree is definitely on the city property. It's on the open lot there that faces Autumn Hill Court. There's a small tree that is 99% dead, and
Is that a crabapple?
it's a crabapple that got joined with a honeysuckle, and somebody cut the honeysuckle tree out many years ago, but it still didn't make it. It's not doing very well.
There it is.
Well, we could also talk about some other things while the mayor's getting set back up if you want, Linda. I am gonna have to leave about 2:50 today because I have
It's
a,
up at full volume. I'm not sure how to get it faster. Hey, can you all hear me now?
Yes.
yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, John.
Okay, well, we can come back to Andrea because of her schedule, but before we get into Canopy and Arborfest, we have lists that have been sent out. Some suggestions have been made, but we need to look at the date for Arborfest. And it looks like there's some opportunities here. And from a city logistics, I need to hear from John and from Ron and from Doug on how this would work. We know that the Spring Kids Fest was canceled because of storms, etc. It was scheduled for October 19th, a Sunday. So I was thinking that maybe we could do some things that would be moving the book sale from Friday and Saturday of that weekend to Saturday and Sunday. And that at the same time, maybe we look at Tree Fest, Arbor Fest on the Saturday, because I'm not sure we can do all three at the same time. But it could be a nice opportunity to do the traditional thing with the library. People send people down for trees and we send tree people up for books, and to kind of continue a little of that and, just change the schedule slightly, because I think trying to do everything and might be too much, but maybe a whole weekend of events could be a good thing. So
You're talking about Arborfest being the 18th, Saturday the 18th?
yes, and that would be day one of the book sale. And then day two
What a good idea.
would be the 19th, and that could be Kids Fest, and they could come in and see things at the library. And by then the trees would be out of the way, and hopefully, more people would be involved with some of the programs that the city offers.
Great
I like that.
idea.
Well, I don't know, but that's something that the city needs to see is if it's practical. And, I think all these people and Sunday at Kids Fest would be great to get them exposed to at least the library. And I don't know that I think it would be too much to do trees, library, and Kids Fest.
Kids Fest is set. I mean, that is going to happen.
That's been publicized, yes. So I'm
Yes.
trying to see what we can do to maximize, some of these events together, if that's even practical, or do we need to look at another weekend? Because the history of the library and the Arbor Fest doing the same weekend, does it need to go the next weekend?
The only thing I'll say is, Tony Denham's told me that Kids Fest has been the best attended community event
It's a great
here.
event, so that could be,
So parking potentially could be an issue.
well, that was my concern as well.
Well,
So
I mean, I don't see the problem with Arborfest being on a Saturday and Kid Fest on a Sunday.
Right.
no, but the library, trying to get some exposure for them on not only Arborfest, but Kids Fest was kind of what we were talking
I
about.
think we need to talk to Sally Schneider and
Okay.
to Ron and to Tony
Mm-hmm.
Denham. I mean, it sounds wonderful to me to do them all at the same time, but I could see where parking.
The
could be-
logistics could be a nightmare, and that's why I just wanted to throw it
Parking
on the
could be a-
table and
Yeah.
let you all think about what would be most manageable and hopefully good for everybody.
Yeah, we definitely need to include Sally Schneider in
Mm-hmm.
that discussion, Tony Denham,
Mm-hmm.
Ron Cundiff to some extent. And Ron's out today.
I might be a little confused about this, but the cars coming and going at Arborfest, it will be on the same day as Kids Fest.
Yeah,
No, but it's moving library to starting on Saturday with the trees. And number 2, Library Day would be the same as Kids Fest.
Yeah,
So,
and I think it all sounds wonderful. I just think we need to talk to the stakeholders.
Mm,
And,
yep.
let them have their say. We call it due process.
And
Yep.
you sure the library's doing a fall sale? What's that
Yes.
word? Oh,
They didn't do the spring, but they've been collecting, and I did talk with Beth Rogers yesterday.
Well, let's keep in mind that Arborfest or Oktoberfest is usually over by 12 o'clock.
True.
Exactly.
So it would be nice to kind of get a date. So, obviously when we order trees, Andrea is going to have her hands full coordinating for that event. And then when we get to the tree selections and the timing of the canopy program.
I think it sounds wonderful. It seems to me like it should be doable. I just think we need to touch base with all the people involved.
And that's why I don't think we need a decision today, but I just wanted to throw it out there because it'll be here before we know it.
Yep,
Well,
that's true.
I think it's close enough, to be honest. I think decision ought to be made pretty darn quick.
Well, yeah, so they can talk quick
Well,
and we can go from there, hopefully.
Then this group needs to talk to Sally pretty darn quick.
Okay. Okay. Now that topic's on the table, we're going to move forward. We're going to gather information from, as you said, the stakeholders, and hopefully we can make a decision quickly. Now, next coming down the agenda is the hazardous trees. We've already talked about the issue with Don Grader and the public trees versus private trees in that area, but I did want to report that Lee and I had a very productive meeting about code enforcement and trying to sort out how to move forward, because I think there are some considerations that I think Mike feels needs to be clarified, and that would be number 1, the report that we do with the picture, that it has some more detail included in it, that can be shared with the person involved with the problem tree, and it would also include information about the certifications of our arborists being able to identify issues that aren't always publicly, that you just look at it and you don't know the tree's got a problem. And then the other issue would be to revise the letter, that it comes not just from code enforcement, but it would be something that the mayor is agreeable to sign. And obviously my typing's not what it should be. I've got a lot of stuff bouncing around my head, and I'm going to look at some programs for audio versions of communicating so I can get something written and give them something to look at. But I think it was a very positive conversation, and I think Mike wants to do the right thing and work with code enforcement and address the hazardous trees that we've identified in our community. So I think it was a positive meeting, and John and Doug, you were there, so I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, I agree. It was very helpful to me. It changed my thinking on some things. So I thought it was very positive.
Yeah, and it's just I've slowed things down, and I apologize for that, but I think we'll get it resolved, and it will be something that's manageable for the city. And Andrea's expertise will come into play in a supporting role, which I think is the right direction at this time.
Yeah, I agree. I was very, very much appreciated it.
Okay, so going on, I've got a couple other topics that I know Lee and I talked about, and one of them would be part of a tree selection for the Jim Phelps Memorial Tree, which would be hopefully somewhere in Fox Harbor, because that was where he was a resident and a very involved personality. And I know a lot of you know him from the Romeos and a few other things. So thinking about a location, if there's still something that I guess would be just south of where the water is, that there's a couple memorial trees in there, and whether there would be space for another one, and what the most appropriate species might be of what's available. Andrea, we might need some direction from you on that one.
Right. Well, the thing I would say is there's a lot of wet areas, there's a drainage area that goes through there in one area, kind of off where before you get to the pull off where you could park to go to the walking
By the
trail or
trash
whatever.
can.
Yeah. So that whole area would be out. I mean, it has some wet areas, so it might be we could plant closer to the street. You know, it's getting pretty crowded. I'm sure we could probably fit another tree in there. Do they want a shade tree, Lee? Do we know, or?
The main criteria would be a native tree.
Okay.
I talked to Gia Phelps, as the widow, and she said that she would leave selection up to you and the Forestation Board, but that Jim would feel very strongly about having native species rather than non-native.
Right.
Didn't Jim order a tree in the tree canopy program for his home?
He did buy some trees.
Well, why don't you let me look at the area again, and because I think we need to fit a tree to the area so it will do well.
Well,
I mean,
absolutely,
you know.
yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to select a tree that will do well in wetter areas or both.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, possibly a swamp white oak, or we have another memorial tree there that's kind of young and it's an oak, but I can't remember which oak it is right now. It might be a swamp white oak too. Let me look at it. Maybe we can come up with a few
Yeah.
areas.
The other oak is right there below, you might say below the bridge. And it seems like it's doing well right now.
Yeah, but there's also an oak, I think, Lee, that I think a resident planted it for their child or something and maybe paid to have it planted themselves. Do you remember
Yes.
that? Or
Yes,
maybe
I
we
do.
planted it. I can't quite remember.
Yeah,
She
they
paid for it.
decorate for Christmas.
Yeah, and I think that's an oak, but in that that larger area that Linda was talking about. But I'll look at it and try to see what would be compared to what's available. I mean, you know, I think if we go on the side of something that may be more tolerant of wet areas, it will do better. If that's okay, I can email, look at it and email something out to the board.
Okay,
If
that
that's
sounds
okay.
good.
We
Now,
just would want to place that order for that tree. We could place it. Well, will we have to get approval from his wife then, Lee, with
No,
what the
no,
choice is?
we just we can pick the tree and have it planted along with the other trees at the appropriate time. We do not need her approval. She's working separately on wording for the memorial plaque.
Okay.
And she'll supply that, and then we'll order that as a separate issue.
Okay. All right.
But I would think the main criteria would be to have it located somewhere where residents of Fox Harbor might be able to see it.
Right.
And it would be native.
I think it'll have to be more in the front half of that space, because there's trees native. I mean, there's trees, existing trees along the creek side,
Sure.
closer to the creek. And then we have some other trees that have been planted sort of not in a row, but towards that area. So it's, I think, probably the front half closer to the road somewhere, maybe in
Well,
a higher
you
spot.
might want to take in account that if US 42 gets changed like some of the plans, what it's the right of way, there's going to have paths that, the right of way is going to get increased. So I don't know if you want to plant a tree that has to be removed in 4 years.
I don't know what that plan is, so I don't know how far back from the existing, how far back. We'll pick a location or two, and then you all can look at it and review it and see if you think it's acceptable.
I can give you a rough idea. I can scale some preliminary drawings. Well, we don't exactly know what's going to be approved, but
Right.
we do know in the plan it's more than just street improvements. There's a multi-use path, and that's, that encroaches into, well, not encroaches, it takes some more space.
A multi-use path that goes through that area? Is that
Yep.
what you're talking about?
Yep.
Is it? Well, yeah, that would be good to know sort of what that might be generally.
Mhm.
Well, next, we'll get you a copy of what the planning study, because it's pretty close.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good. Now, one other topic with the memorial trees is the Mike Powers redbud. And I guess there was some confusion about the memorial plaque. And with Ron not being here, I'm not sure we can answer that. Lee, do you know any more?
No, I don't. Andrew would be the person that selected the site, and if there's any doubt, if Andrew would have the time or to put a big yellow marker or ribbon around that tree, and then we can ask Ron to put the appropriate plaque at that point.
Okay, sounds good. Now, on to the big topic today, because we want to kind of finalize some things for our tree selections and, the quantities. I know we talked about the city council was very generous in providing additional funding so we could offer a greater quantity of trees after all the storms. And it was used, but not used as much as we had hoped for. So, I think we had 75 trees. So I think maybe looking at, 50 trees this year, and, maybe we pick 5 different trees and offer 10 of each. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So do we want to start with that list?
Yeah, I think that would be good because we need to get that order in first.
Okay, because I know Herb, we know the Coosa dogwoods are always popular, so I think that could be a fair choice.
How about going that Spring Grove dogwood? I know it's more expensive, but it's definitely native.
Sure.
Well, it's a type of flowering dogwood, and flowering dogwoods are native. That cultivar may not be native, but I mean, it could be. Yeah, it could be. It's selected. They selected that cultivar out of a lot of them. It had superior characteristics, as I think I mentioned in my email, that was named because it was selected from Spring Grove Cemetery in Cincinnati, which is essentially an arboretum, kind of like Cave Hill Cemetery.
Yeah.
So that maybe the Spring Grove might be the first choice if it's available, and then we do a fallback to the basic Coosa if not available. That could be one.
Okay.
We had tried to get a Bracken's Brown magnolia in the past, and they were sold out before we could get any.
No.
Do you think that still is something to consider?
I think so. They like the magnolias.
The
They're very
magnolias are very
pretty.
popular.
Yeah.
Going back to the top of the list, maples are usually very popular as well. And
Yeah.
I think we did a Sun Valley, which was a lovely tree. Do we want to look at that or another one from that list?
Definitely a maple.
Yeah, I think we need a maple in the list. So what's your recommendation, Andrea?
I'm trying to pull up the list because I had printer issues. And
We've all been there. I
I
understand.
know, and it's been frustrating. Let's see. I'm pulling it up. Sorry for the delay. Let's see here. Let's see. There's
We may have done a red sunset.
Brandywine or October Glory are good ones. They both have excellent red fall color. Some of these other ones. So I would probably, you like the Sun Valley. So October Glory and Brandywine are both good. October Glory probably gets its fall color slightly later than like into October,
Well,
early
why don't
November.
we use one of those based on availability?
Okay, that sounds fine. October Glory or Brandywine.
Yep.
I mean, they're well known. October Glory's been around for a long time, but it's still a very good cultivar. Brandywine is a little newer. So yes, I will ask about those.
Okay, that gets us started, and then going on down the list as I was shopping around, and I know that John was Herb shopping around. You know, he has a white oak on his list, and I'm okay with that. Oaks are very
I love
popular.
white oaks.
Mm-hmm. So I would put that on the list. And then going on down the list, I mean, we've done some things with Stewardia and the Snowbells, but another one that's always popular are the elms. And there were 2 elms available, the Jefferson and the Princeton. What do you think about those?
Princeton is the one that's in Cali Park that replaced that big old oak, I think it was, that was taken out a few years ago.
And it's doing great.
I would probably go with the Princeton. Both
Okay,
of those.
okay, so we have a Princeton oak. We have
Elm,
a white
Elm.
elm, Princeton elm, a white oak, Bracken's brown if available,
right?
something, either the Spring Grove dogwood or the
Coosa.
Coosa dogwood, depending on availability. And then that would be either the Brandywine or the October Glory red maple.
Right. Do you want to, just in case that Bracken's Brown Beauty isn't available, have like a second choice?
I think we
Since
need
we've
to,
had
because
a hard-
that's what happened before. Which one would you choose?
Of the magnolias or what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think still a magnolia, because they seem to be people come in and want to see the magnolias.
I kind of like the little gem.
Okay,
Have we had moon glow before? I can't remember on that.
I think we have.
I think we have, haven't we? Little gem is a little bit smaller tree, but it seems to, it's hardy here. It's a southern magnolia. It's just a little bit smaller than what a Bracken's Brown Beauty would be.
Okay, and those are
so
all
that-
deciduous, right?
No, those are evergreen.
Oh, good.
Those are evergreen.
Okay,
The southern magnolias are evergreen.
okay.
No,
Those,
for
I think
instance, yeah.
we have 5 trees for that event. So let's move on to canopy tree, because I know there's some time sensitivity there.
I think all the ones that Andrea listed, and I had my little internet research, turned out not to be all that accurate, and Andrea clarified it. So I think the ones that she listed, should be the ones we.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought that was a great list. I did a little digging around before. The only one that concerned me a little bit was the coffee tree, but I know that's sort of a native tree. But if it's going to make a mess, some people might not like it.
No, it's not going to make a mess because it's a seedless cultivar. Espresso is the cultivar name. So it's been selected not to get the messy fruit.
Okay.
So it will not get messy fruit. It'll just get the foliage. It's really a pretty nice tree.
Okay, and I like the idea that these are some different trees as well as traditional trees. So I think that is very worthwhile. And I guess the other question that comes to mind, we had said, again, to help support the Prospect community with larger tree replacement, that we were going to do 20 trees. The spring event did not take all the trees that were available, or the ability to order 20 trees, and the fall event did. So one of the questions that came to mind is, we had a couple people that said they wanted to buy 2 trees, and we said no, because that's kind of what we had decided. But it comes to mind that if we want to get 20 trees out there and there's not a demand for all 20, should we let an owner have 2 trees? As long as, they'll pay for it.
Well,
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of
Well, that was
course.
kind of my thinking,
Well-
and just how we would address that, and just to make sure everybody was comfortable with that and the city was comfortable with that.
Yeah, the city's fine with that.
Okay, that's good.
My feeling is the trees
makes
in the
sense.
canopy program will be planted better than
Oh,
maybe some of the trees that we
absolutely.
give it away at ArborFest.
Yeah,
So
and
we have a better chance of them making it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Mandy, you've got 3 trees. Tell me about them.
Well, I was about to ask the question, what's the difference between the tree selection we just made and the canopy program? But I think you just answered the program, the question for me. So, so let me get this straight. The 5 that we just selected, that's what's going to be available for ArborFest.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
and those are the 2-foot trees.
They're 3 gallon.
They're
Some of
3
them are
gallon. They're
taller.
smaller.
Okay, and
They're
then
smaller.
with the canopy, I have the green vase Zelkova.
Mhm.
He's 3 years old. The swamp white oak, which was planted just before Thanksgiving, and then a Robin Hill serviceberry.
Mhm.
And I tell you what, it's fantastic. We've taken out 4, maybe 5 Bradford pears on our property.
Good
Our
for
Some
you.
hero.
against our,
Yay.
some nature took out, and we just paid to have hauled off. But the trees are doing great, and they're I don't I literally have been selling this to everybody on our street
Oh, that's
Good.
good.
for years because I
Fantastic.
don't understand why you wouldn't do this. It's easy. They I mean, it's done. I looked out the window and one day I had a 6-foot tree, and now I'm guessing the Zelkova is probably, I don't know, maybe 20 feet, and
Sure.
beautiful and lush and beautiful fall color. So I'm really excited about adding more. Yeah, I loved the idea of like the green linden that was on the list, and certainly that burgundy bell. Oh,
Mhm.
sounds just gorgeous. So yeah, I'm excited about it, but it's easy. I don't know why more people don't do this.
Hey,
I mean,
Mandy,
it's almost like you need to just go around and knock on the door and
You need a tree?
Well, I
Mandy,
think
like,
Mandy,
wear a
Mandy,
little green outfit and sell to people on the trees.
I think it just takes informing people,
Yeah.
and what
It's
you're doing by
education.
doing that is great. The professional planning is such an important
Oh,
thing,
it's huge.
and that's,
hey,
so,
Mandy,
And I think the word of mouth, like you're doing, Mandy, and I know I've talked with my neighbors about things, and Andrea, you have said that this program or something comparable to Canopy has been active in Anchorage for some years, and it's been very successful. So I think it will build over time.
Yeah, I think it will.
Linda, if I
Yeah.
could, Mandy,
Mm-hmm.
to follow up on Herb's good comments. One thought might be for you to consider drafting a letter to your neighbors that we could hand distribute, and I'd be glad to help hand distribute them and
Oh,
just say
that'd
what
be
you just
terrific.
said, because people don't know about this.
No.
Right.
And I think
Well,
that could be very helpful. A personal testimonial from you. Here are the advantages. It's going to be professionally planted at no cost to you. You'll pay for the tree or whatever the way that works, vice versa.
Right.
I just think that could be, and give your own story about what a difference.
yeah, and
it's made.
talk about the challenge of the Bradford pears in a minor way.
Yes,
Here's a great solution.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great solution especially
Okay.
in the landings.
Yeah, I'm happy to, because they're flooded, and
Yeah.
it's not just, some people take care of them, and some people
Mhm.
just, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And
Right.
if you don't know how to take care of it, or, we've got a lot of new families that are coming in,
Yeah.
we've been here for 21 years, and we were the new kids on the block. And a lot of our neighbors and people down the street, they had children that are where our kids are now. They're off at college, or
Mhm.
maybe they're close to retiring. And then a lot of these people have downsized and left the neighborhood, and we've got new families coming in. And I sympathize. I didn't have the money to be able to take out
Right.
Sure,
trees 20
it's
years ago.
expensive.
It is
It is
expensive. And so yeah, I'm happy to write a letter. Happy
Oh,
to.
that would be awesome.
When you do
Okay.
that, let me
Connie,
know. I'll be
Connie
glad
wants
to
to
help
talk.
distribute them.
Connie,
Oh,
talk.
Let me
The
just,
mayor's talking.
oh, sorry. Go
I,
ahead, Mary.
let me just say one little thing. I would rather put our money into the canopy program than than Oktoberfest. That's all I'm going to say. I just think it's a better deal.
It is really a good deal, and it's a really good way to get a quality tree, because the
Mhm.
grower they are coming
Mhm.
from is
So they're
top
beautiful
notch.
trees and they're expertly planted. That makes a lot of
Right.
difference.
It
Right,
makes all the
Right.
difference.
But I
right.
tell you, I have 4 Arborfest trees that are doing great. I had 2 of them that didn't make it, but they so
Look
I
forward
mean
to it.
they're out there being decent, nice trees.
But you
So
also, I believe, have a canopy Zelkova that I think has done very well.
it's doing great. Yeah.
You all, I'm gonna have to leave a little early.
Okay, I think we're
Okay.
ready to wrap up.
Andrea,
Yes, sir.
before you leave,
Yes.
so maybe I can talk with you separately about Innisbrook and the trees there.
Sure.
And how the city might be able to help with all that.
Okay.
And I'll mention, we have limbed up the trees at the entrance to Hunting Creek.
Oh, good.
And,
They
and
did.
at the entrance to Fox Harbor. So we'll definitely get that done at Innisbrook also.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Oh, there are a couple of trees on the entrance at, one in particular on the island at the entrance to Fox Harbor, that the trunk is split.
Yes.
The trunk is probably 2 or 3 inches in diameter, maybe 3 inches in diameter. And the tree guys who were with Greenscape said this tree needs to be replaced.
Is that in the
So-
second median as you go in from?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might take a look
It
at
might
that.
be a maple.
I think it is a maple. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's an attractive tree, but you
Yeah, I
can, even a
kinda was
layperson can tell that it's in some jeopardy. And
I'll-
we also did the trees to the right over where the new kiosk is. When you come in,
Mhm.
over closer to the boardwalk and the trails.
Oh, good.
And there are 2 trees there that are right by the creek that are covered with vines.
Yes.
And their observation about those was to take those trees out. That to
Yeah.
try to get those vines out would be impossible.
Right. I think that's probably true. I agree.
Mhm.
And yeah, so maybe the city will go ahead and do that if this.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
can't you cut
what-
the vines off down at the bottom and they die?
No, these are just covered. Like, I don't think you'd have much of a tree left.
Well, these guys seem to know what they're talking about, and they felt like the solution was to take the trees out.
Yeah. I
Well,
think,
they want the money.
No, that's not right, Connie. That's not right.
Let me.
Oh, okay.
I'll
we,
see.
we had
I'll-
a neat thing happen in Honey Creek. We had this terrible, ugly dead tree there in the golf course, and you might want to ride up and
Oh,
take a
yeah,
look
it's
at it
coming
now.
along.
It's awesome. Herb's exactly right. It's so different from the fox in Little Hunting Creek Park. It's a different tree sculpture now, but it's a huge improvement. Very exciting. You have to look at both sides of it because it's
That's
different on
right.
2
There's
sides.
little foxes in the back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you all go, but if you want to
Okay,
talk,
thank
I
you,
can-
Andrea.
Thanks, Andrea.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And there's no tariff to come into Hunting Creek.
Oh, that's good. You changed that, Herb. Thank you. Well, I like the way Mandy has sexed her trees. I bet next time we see her, she'll have names for them.
Now,
Oh, they already have names.
oh,
They
Oh,
already have
good,
names.
good.
Zoe
lovely.
the Zelkova. I misgendered her. I'm sorry. Zoe the Zelkova, Winston the Swamp White Oak, and then I think it was Aurora is what the kids named the serviceberry because she was
Aw.
gonna be springy and beautiful. And
Mhm.
so yes. So and then and then have Margaret is our sugar maple on the property, and Margaret is the beauty of the neighborhood. So yes,
Aw.
she's
I'm
my
gonna have
favorite. But yes,
I'm gonna have
I
to
name
leave. I've got
everything.
3
My
o'clock.
I love
car's
it.
named everything. So
Good to see everybody.
All right. Anything else from anybody? I think we're ready
I mean,
to.
do we want to send a letter to Honey Creek Country Club and thank them for what they did with that tree?
Well, that's something to consider because I think they've got another one going down, so there may be more
I
opportunity.
bet Connie's good on thank you notes.
Oh, ha, ha. No. You
Ron,
live
can I answer
there.
your question from earlier? I can't remember, I couldn't hear you well. Mr. Gibson?
Don, anything from you? You're mute.
No, thank you.
Okay, I thought you had a question for me, I couldn't hear.
Okay, anything from anybody else? Let's have a motion to adjourn.
So
Motion
moved.
to adjourn.
Okay, a second. I think it was a very productive meeting and thank you all. It was great to see everybody. And Mandy, we're glad you're here.
oh, thank you so much. Happy to be here. Nice to
Okay.
meet you all.
All right, take care. We'll
Bye.
be in touch. The next meeting is September 11th and we'll continue to use WebEx.
Okay, great. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.